then, so how'd you go about ironing a shirt? Well, myself, normally you would think, you know, blokes ironing shirts, rubbish and all the rest of it, and it's one of those things, here I am, I'm a working man, got to learn to iron my shirts, it's a world of equality now, so how'd you go about doing it? I was taught by my mother years and years ago to do this, and what a great thing she taught me and showed me how to do it, but it's a heck of a lot easier than things, and you can always be going to work with nice crisp shirts. Don't pay loads for laundry. One of the great things about being as a bloke is you can buy a fantastic gadget like I've got here. I bought a kind of top of the range power steam iron here, and these really like kick ass basically when it comes to ironing and save you loads and loads of times with better results. The reason being is that they, with inside the body of this machine, they generate tons and tons of steam, so that when you go for it, it looks like this. That's how you get good results with your iron. So, shirt. Oh, apart from this, one of the great things to always do as a bloke is usually get the extension cable out, get in the back garden if you want, if it's a nice day. I usually get the extension out and plonk myself in front of the TV so I can watch some TV while doing it. Or even better still, get yourself a beer and then you can drink some beer while you're doing it. Right, shirt. First thing to do with your shirt, here's my shirt, it's already been washed, already been ironed, is you need to check at what temperature you need to do the actual ironing at. With inside one of the sleeves is usually one of these white labels just here, and if you check the white label there's a little symbol on it that actually looks like an iron. It's got a number of dots on it, 1 dot, 2 dots, 3 dots. The more dots there are, the hotter the iron are, and you need to adjust that on your steam iron to your temperature that you're going to do. Usually, the more pure cotton your shirt is, the hotter the iron needs to be. So a pure cotton shirt is usually 3 spots. One that's part synthetic like this shirt is usually 2 spots. If you're doing silk or woolen like that, that's usually a lower temperature, nice cool iron as well. Okay, so you've adjusted that on your iron. You've set your iron to steam mode, however you do it, whether you need to add water to it itself or water to your power steam iron, as it is in my case. And here's your shirt. So the trick with the shirt, as my mother taught it, is there's basically 7 pieces of cloth that make a shirt. Okay, and the trick is to lay each one of those pieces of cloth flat against the ironing board and then simply press the iron across that clean surface. Job's a good one. So usually I start with the outer edge of the shirt. That's the shirt with the buttons on it here. If you look at that, that's the first flat piece of cloth. They're made out of pieces of cloth. Each piece of cloth will be flat. So laying this on, and this is where this end of your iron that's shaped in this way as a point comes in handy. So laying this across the ironing board, tuck that in right. It's that shape for a reason. It gets that shape so it lies flat against the cloth. Iron in hand. Now the back and forth bit. With this, you need to be, in my particular case, is a steam iron, pressing the button to release the steam to come out on it. The other one, sometimes you squirt the water out of your iron and then pass the over, which generates the steam and gives you the nice colour. So, working backwards and forth, you should be able to hear the steam coming out of my iron as you do this, and round all the buttons. First piece done. And then, in a rotation moment, rotate the shirt across the board. Isn't this exciting, guys? Didn't you think this would be so wonderfully dull? You know, you probably should be watching Top Gear or something like that, or you know, some other program with like attractive chicks in it, you know, instead of like ironing your shirts. Rotating the shirt around, that's the back piece of the shirt, the bit that's the whole back of your shirt to here. And just keep rotating that round as you work your way round the shirt. As I say, keeping each bit flat against the ironing board here, and then you get to the limit of that, and then usually I find there's always just a narrow strip to do that's up to the shirt, to the armpit. And then you rotate round and you're on the left hand side of the shirt, lay a little bit of pressure with the iron, and usually what I do, go up the pocket again. Okay, so that's actually most of your shirt ironed there in kind of one go. In those 3 pieces there, those 3 vertical pieces there, the sides and the 2 backs. The next one I always do, bit of tension on the shirt, and lie the arm flat. Now the trick here is to get it to kind of scoop up a little bit. Scoop up, so the sides scoop up in this way. And then with a good steam iron like this, you only have to do one strike back and forth, but don't push all the way up to the edge, because you'll get a crease down the centre of your arm, and that's not what you want. Then you can turn to the cuff, and in a rotating motion push the cuff against the board like that. There's one arm done. There's the other one gone. There's the other one. So again, a little bit of tension, pull that tension so you can get it flat, lay it across the board like that, smooth with your hand, again a little bit of tension, curving up so you don't create a crease. There we go, like that. Oh, just the best nighting ever ironing, you know, best nighting. There we go. That's 5 pieces of cloth already done. Now then, this is the complex one. At the back of the shirt here is what's called, I think it's called the yoke, but you know, who cares what it's called? It's that funny bit, that's the shoulder bit of the cloth. Usually a bit heavier where everything's kind of stitched together. And the trick here is to gather the shirt up, as I'm gathering it like this, gather it like that, to try and lay that bit flat against the board. And I usually smooth this down with my hand to do it. And once that last piece is flat, easy peasy to iron that. Then all you got left is the collar. Now my mother always taught me the trick. Take the collar and have it open to start off with, and give that one right run over, then fold it over, and then the last press, and there you go, one superbly ironed shirt. And for God's sake, whatever you do, put it back on a hanger, and then because you've done a steam iron, it's steaming away as it is now. Let it steam by letting it hang for a couple of minutes to dry it off before you stick it into your wardrobe. That's it. That's how to iron a shirt.